61 years ago today, the ocean liner SS United States broke the eastbound speed record to cross the Atlantic. Back then, she was our pride of the seas, a genuine ship of state. Mark Strassmann has tracked her down.
If you ever find yourself south of downtown Philadelphia, in the parking lot of this strip mall, take a look past the buzzing traffic.
America's bid for the supremacy of the seas.
There, chained to an idle dock, floats a legend, forlorn and largely forgotten. Only her name still speaks to the pride she once inspired across the nation, the SS United States.
A ship that would be so fast and so easily handled, she could outmaneuver anything afloat.
This is the most famous ship that didn't sink. We all know the Titanic and this spectacular maiden voyage catastrophe. This ship is famous precisely because she did her job.
Susan Gibbs, the executive director of the SS United States Conservancy, never sailed on this ship. But interest in the vessel's fate runs in her blood. Her grandfather, William Francis Gibbs, was the ship's designer.
How important is this to you?
This has become, well, certainly my grandfather was obsessed with the ship, and my children would say I am following in his footsteps.
Gibbs was a self-taught naval architect, a Harvard dropout with a single-minded devotion to his work.
As he was once asked, "Mr. Gibbs, do you love that ship more than your wife?" And Gibbs responded, "You're 1,000% correct." And his wife happened to be there and she didn't mind. She understood what the ship meant to him.
Author Stephen Ujifusa has set out to restore the acclaim Gibbs once enjoyed. Consider this.
1 year after entering the war, United States gains in naval tonnage shatter all records.
During World War II, 3/4 of U.S. naval vessels built were designed by Gibbs's firm.
The prime requisites were speed, power, and passenger comfort.
After the war, Gibbs poured everything he knew into one ultimate ship.
I christen thee United States.
Larger, faster, and far safer than the Titanic, the vessel could accommodate 2,000 passengers in high style, though if war broke out, she could be converted to carry 14,000 troops. The design was so revolutionary, it was classified.
While censorship forbids revealing details of her lower hull construction, it is no secret that the new liner possesses structural strength and features for safety unknown in shipbuilding even a few short years ago.
On her very first Atlantic crossing in July 1952, she set the world speed record, 3 days, 10 hours, and 40 minutes. Her return time from England to New York remains unbeaten to this day.
On her return to New York City, nearly everyone seemed to turn out to see the sleek new ship glide into the harbor.
Imagine taking a structure the size of the Chrysler Building, turning it on its side, and pushing it through the Atlantic at 44 miles per hour. That's a heck of a lot of engineering. And on top of that, make it the most beautiful ship in the world.
This beautiful ship attracted the beautiful people of her day. Marilyn Monroe, Marlon Brando, the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. It was a heady experience for everyone on board.
I remembered how absolutely gorgeous those stacks were, what it looks like when it's painted properly.
Back in 1958, 5-year-old Roz McPherson and her family sailed to her father's new army posting in Europe. They had come from the segregated South. But McPherson discovered something remarkable on board. The ship was colorblind.
You figure that's 1958. That was a big deal to us as a family from the South, because I would not have been frolicking in a pool in New Orleans, I can guarantee that.
With the white kids and white families.
With white kids and white families. Here my parents are dressed up in the lounge, sitting there with white people. We were really treated like regular human beings on this voyage.
Everything about the experience made passengers feel special. And yet, no ship could compete with this.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This is your captain. Welcome to the jet age.
Jet travel cut the journey to just over 6 hours. And so in 1969, the SS United States was mothballed.
That is the chafing dishes we should have in here.
In 1984, her fittings were auctioned off.
So it was a great opportunity. Was a little bit sad at the same time.
Very sad. But I thought to myself, if I and other collectors don't gather some of this material together and keep it, it'll just be scattered to the four winds.
By coincidence, our colleague here at CBS, producer Charles Howland, happens to be a leading collector of SS United States memorabilia.
This was a chest of drawers that would have been in a first-class stateroom.
His Manhattan apartment is a living shrine to her furnishings.
These tables all had a propeller design.
From cocktail tables to stateroom linens.
You eat and sleep this ship.
Yes.
Howland's ship-shaped rooms are a sight to behold. But he and the SS United States Conservancy have grander designs in mind. They're searching for a final home port where she can be converted into a museum, hotel, and conference center. The estimated price tag, $150 to $300 million. But the clock is ticking. With future funding uncertain, the ship remains in constant danger of being sold for scrap.
And if there's a ship that ought to be saved, it's probably one called the SS United States.
Absolutely. We as a nation should be able to save our best ship. And she is our best ship.